Hello, and welcome to Language Learners Podcast. In today's episode, we'll cover practical Spanish you can use in everyday situations. I'm Cara, your host and Spanish coach.
And I'm Ashlyn. I'll be learning right alongside you, asking the questions you might be wondering about. We'll keep it light, clear, and fun.
That's right. In this episode, we'll explore greetings, ordering food, asking for directions, shopping, making small talk, checking into a hotel, and even handling medical emergencies, all in Spanish. Let's dive in. Let's start with some basics, Ashlyn. You know, one of the first things you need to know, absolutely, is how to say hello and introduce yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. So hello, Cara, in Spanish?
Exactly. You'd say, Hola, Ashlyn.
Oh, right, hola. I already knew that one. It's pretty universal, isn't it?
It really is. Hola works any time of day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night. It's super versatile. But, there are other greetings that are more time-specific, too.
Ooh, like what?
So, for instance, if it's the morning, you'd say, Buenos dias. That's, good morning.
Buenos dias. Okay.
And then for the afternoon, we have buenas tardes. That means good afternoon.
Buenos tardes.
Right. And finally, for evening or night, it's buenas noches. That can mean good evening or good night. So, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Got it?
Got it. Hola for any time, but then buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenas noches for specific parts of the day. That's helpful. So once I've said hello, how do I actually introduce myself? How do I say, my name is Ashlyn?
Great question. You would say, Me llamo Ashlyn.
Me llamo Ashlyn. That sounds pretty straightforward. What about asking someone else their name?
To ask someone else their name, you'd say, ¿Cómo te llamas? It literally translates to, how do you call yourself? But it means, what's your name?
So if I were asking you, I'd say, ¿Cómo te llamas?
Precisely. And I would reply, Me llamo Cara. And then after we've exchanged names, we usually say something like, nice to meet you, right? In Spanish, that's mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. Okay. And then what if I want to say likewise back? Is there a phrase for that?
Oh, absolutely. You would say igualmente.
So you'd say mucho gusto and I'd say igualmente.
Exactly. See, you're already getting the hang of it. Okay, so we've said hello, we've introduced ourselves. Now you probably want to ask how someone is doing, right?
Oh, yeah. How are you?
Exactly. For that, you'd say, ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Okay. And what are some common ways to answer that? If I'm fine or, not so fine.
Good point. So if you're fine, you can say, Estoy bien. That means I'm fine. Or you could say, muy bien, gracias. That's very well, thanks.
Estoy bien or muy bien, gracias. What if I'm just so-so? Not great, not terrible.
For that, you can say más o menos, which literally means more or less, but it implies so-so.
Más o menos. That's useful. And then I assume I should ask them back, right? And you?
Yes, absolutely. That's just good manners. You'd say, ¿Y tú?
So, estoy bien, ¿y tú? That feels natural.
It totally does. So let's quickly recap those. We have hola for hello, anytime. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches for time-specific greetings. For introducing yourself, me llamo.
That sounds really, really good. I feel like I could actually, meet someone and have a basic exchange now. This is exciting. Okay, so we've covered how to meet people and say hello. Now, Ashlyn, let's imagine you've just arrived in like Spain or Mexico or any Spanish-speaking country and you're hungry, or maybe you just need a coffee. You're in a cafe or a restaurant. What do you say?
Ooh, this is a good one. I always feel a little awkward trying to order in a new language. What's the easiest way to just get a coffee?
Totally understandable. The simplest way, a bit more direct, would be quiero un café, por favor. That's I want a coffee, please.
Quiero un café, por favor. Okay, that sounds pretty straightforward. But is there a more polite way to say it? I feel like, just saying I want can sometimes sound a little blunt.
You hit the nail on the head. There absolutely is. A more polite and, I'd say, generally preferred way is to use quisiera. So you'd say, quisiera un café, por favor. That means, I would like a coffee, please. It's just a little softer.
Quisiera un café, por favor. That sounds much better. I'll definitely try to remember that one. So what if I want more than one thing? Like, I want a coffee and some water.
Good question. You just add y, which means and. So you could say, quisiera un café y un agua, por favor. Agua is water.
Quisiera un café y un agua, por favor. Got it. That's easy enough. What if the server asks me if I want anything else, like after I've ordered? How would they say that? And how do I respond if I don't want anything else?
They'll probably ask you algo más. That literally means something more or anything else. And if you're all set, you can just politely say, no, gracias, which is no, thank you. Simple, right?
No, gracias. Okay, I can definitely remember that one. So once I'm done and I'm ready to leave, how do I ask for the bill? Because that's a crucial one.
It absolutely is. You just say, la cuenta, por favor. La cuenta means the bill or the check.
La cuenta, por favor. Excellent. That's really practical. And what if I want to be a bit adventurous and ask for a recommendation? What do you recommend?
That's a great way to try new things and engage a bit more. You would ask, ¿qué me recomienda?
¿Qué me recomienda? That sounds like a good one to know, especially if I'm not sure what to order. So to recap for me, quisiera un café, por favor, for polite ordering. Quisiera un café y un agua, por favor, if I want multiple items. No gracias for nothing else. La cuenta, por favor, for the bill. And ¿qué me recomienda for recommendations? That pretty much covers most restaurant interactions, doesn't it?
It really does, Ashlyn. You've got the essentials for ordering covered. Feeling a bit more confident about your next Spanish cafe visit?
Definitely. I feel like I could, actually survive a meal out now. This is awesome.
Okay, Cara. I'm out exploring. I've just finished my delicious meal, feeling good, but now I'm totally lost. Or maybe I just really, really need to find the bathroom. How do I even start asking for directions?
Oh, this is a classic scenario. You know that moment of panic when you're in a new place and you just don't know where anything is?
Exactly. So the absolute fundamental phrase you need is ¿Dónde está?, which means where is. It's super versatile.
¿Dónde está? Okay, so if I needed the bathroom, I'd say ¿Dónde está el baño?
Perfect. ¿Dónde está el baño? You got it. Or if you're looking for your hotel, you could say ¿Dónde está el hotel?
Okay, that makes sense. So, ¿Dónde está el baño? Or ¿Dónde está el hotel? But is there a way to make it more polite? Or is that just generally accepted?
Good question. To be extra polite, which is always a good idea, especially when you're asking for help, you can add disculpe at the beginning. It means excuse me. So it would be disculpe, ¿dónde está el baño?
Disculpe, ¿dónde está el baño? I like that. It just, makes you feel a little less demanding.
Exactly. It softens it up. So now you know how to ask where something is. But what if they start giving you directions and they're like talking super fast? How do you even understand what they're saying?
Oh, that's my biggest fear. Someone just rattling off directions and I'm just nodding like, sí, sí. But I have no idea.
Been there, done that. So let's go over some common directional terms. These are ones you'll hear a lot. First, for to the right, you'll hear a la derecha.
A la derecha. Okay.
And then for to the left, it's a la izquierda.
A la izquierda. Right and left. Got it.
And then for straight ahead, you might hear recto or derecho. Both work. So go straight, they might say siga recto.
Recto. Or derecho. Okay.
And then simple ones. Aquí means here, and allí or allá means there.
Aquí and ahí. Those are pretty straightforward. But seriously, Cara, if someone starts speaking at like native speaker speed, what do I say? How do I ask them to slow down without being rude?
Crucial phrase right here, Ashlyn. You can say, más despacio, por favor. That means slower, please. Don't be afraid to use it. People are usually very understanding.
Más despacio, por favor? I'm definitely writing that one down. That's like a lifesaver.
It really is. And one more useful phrase for directions. If you want to ask how to get somewhere, not just where it is, you can say, ¿Cómo llego a? That means, how do I get to?
¿Cómo llego a? So like, ¿cómo llego al museo? How do I get to the museum?
Exactly. You've got it. So you're equipped to ask where things are, to ask for directions to a specific place, and even to ask people to slow down. That's a huge step for navigating around.
It really is. I feel like just having those few phrases makes a massive difference, for feeling less overwhelmed. I mean, disculpe, ¿dónde está el baño? And más despacio, por favor, are probably going to be my most used phrases. Let's be real.
Hey, if they get you where you need to go, that's all that matters. Success!
All right, so you've navigated your way around, you've eaten some amazing food, maybe even found that elusive bathroom. What's next on the agenda for any traveler?
Oh, I know this one. Shopping. Definitely shopping. I mean, you can't go somewhere new without finding a little souvenir or something, right?
Absolutely. Retail therapy is universal, and knowing a few key phrases will make your shopping experience so much smoother. Let's dive into some must-use phrases when you're out browsing or looking for something specific.
Perfect. My biggest question first, how do I ask how much something costs? Because that's, pretty important.
Essential question. To ask how much does it cost, you say, ¿Cuánto cuesta?
¿Cuánto cuesta?
That's simple enough. Okay, yeah, it's a good one to memorize. Now, what if you find something you really like, but, it's not quite the right fit? Like a shirt that's a little too big or too small.
Oh, that happens all the time. How do I ask if they have a different size?
You'd ask, ¿Tiene otra talla? Talla means size. And then, if you want to try it on, you'd ask, ¿Puedo probarlo?
¿Tiene otra talla? Y puedo probarlo. Got it. So I can try it on, check for the right size. What about paying? Do I need to ask if they take cards, or is that usually assumed?
It's always good to ask just in case, especially in smaller shops. You can say, ¿Aceptan tarjeta? That means, do you accept card?
¿Aceptan tarjeta? Okay, that's super helpful. I always forget to ask that until I'm at the register.
Been there. It saves you a little bit of awkwardness. Now, what if you're not just browsing, but you're actually looking for something very specific? Like, you have a white shirt in mind.
Right, like if I need a specific item, how do I tell them I'm looking for?
You would say estoy buscando, and then you add what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a white shirt, you'd say estoy buscando una camisa blanca.
Estoy buscando una camisa blanca. That's really practical. So they can, point me in the right direction. And then once I found it and I've decided, yes, I want this, how do I say I want to buy it?
You have a couple of good options here. The simplest way to say I'll take it is lo llevo. Or if you want to be a bit more formal, you can say quisiera comprar esto, which means I'd like to buy this.
Lo llevo. Oh, I like that. It's short, it's punchy. Quisiera comprar esto is good too. I feel like lo llevo just sounds a little more confident,
It does. It's very common and efficient. Now, this next one might be a bit ambitious for a beginner, but it's always fun to know.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Can you guess?
Is it asking for a discount? Because, a girl's got to try. You got it. And it doesn't hurt to ask, right? You can try, ¿me puede dar un descuento?
¿Me puede dar un descuento?
Exactly. You just might be surprised. So with these phrases, you're pretty well set for most shopping scenarios, from asking prices to asking for that cheeky discount.
I feel so much more prepared for my hypothetical shopping spree now. It's really useful to have these specific phrases.
That's fantastic, Ashlyn. And often after you've successfully navigated shopping or ordering food, you might find yourself in a situation where you just want to chat with someone. Maybe you're waiting in line or at a cafe. Small talk.
Oh, small talk. That can be tricky even in English sometimes, right? What's the easiest way to start a conversation in Spanish?
You're so right. It can be, but one of the classic ways to start to build a connection is to ask where someone is from. You'd say, ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres? Okay, so where are you from? That makes sense. And then how would I answer that?
Exactly. And a common answer might be soy de country, city name, like soy de Estados Unidos if you're from the US, or soy de Mexico. Pretty straightforward, really.
Got it. Okay, so after that, if you want to keep the conversation going, what about hobbies? What do you like to do?
Great question. For what do you like to do, you'd ask, ¿Qué te gusta hacer?
¿Qué te gusta hacer? I feel like I'm really building up my conversational toolkit now. This is good.
You absolutely are. And another super common one, just like in English, is just asking how someone's day is going. How's your day?
Oh, that's useful for any situation, isn't it?
It really is. You'd say, ¿Qué tal tu día?
¿Qué tal tu día? And then how would I answer that? Good or fine?
Yeah, you could say something simple like, bien, gracias, good, thanks, or todo bien, all good, just keeping it light.
And what about, the most universal small talk topic, the weather? You always talk about the weather no matter where you are.
You absolutely do. There are a few key phrases here. If it's hot, you say, hace calor.
Hace calor. So then if it's cold, is it hace frío?
You got it. Hace frío. And if it's raining, you say, está lloviendo.
Está lloviendo. Okay, that's good to know. And for a really nice day, the weather is nice,
you'd say, hace buen tiempo. Literally, it makes good weather.
Hace buen tiempo. That's easy enough to remember. I like that.
And finally, if you feel comfortable and the conversation naturally leads there, sometimes you might want to ask about family. A common way to start is asking if they have siblings.
Oh, do you have brothers or sisters?
Precisely. You'd ask, ¿Tienes hermanos? And hermanos can mean siblings in general or specifically brothers. If you want to specify sisters, you'd say hermanas.
Tienes hermanos. Okay. And then if I want to answer, I have two sisters, how would I say that?
You'd say, tengo dos hermanas. Or if you have brothers, tengo dos hermanos.
Tengo dos hermanas. this is great. It really feels like I could, have a very basic conversation now, like introduce myself, ask where they're from, ask about their day, maybe even the weather. That's a good start. Okay, Cara, so we've talked about shopping. We've talked about small talk. But you know what always stresses me out a little bit when I'm traveling? Checking into hotels. Like, what if there's a language barrier?
Oh, I totally get that, Ashlyn. It can feel like a high-stakes situation, especially after a long journey. But don't worry, we've got some crucial phrases that will make that process much, much smoother.
Whew. Okay, so first things first, if I booked online and I have a reservation, what do I say?
Excellent question. The most straightforward way to say I have a reservation is tengo una reserva.
Tengo una reserva. Okay, that sounds pretty simple. And then, a lot of hotels include breakfast these days. So how do I ask about that? Like, is breakfast included?
Right, that's a common one. You'd ask, ¿está incluido el desayuno?
Está incluido el desayuno. Got it. And then the dreaded checkout time. I always forget it and then I'm rushing. How do I ask what time is checkout?
I know that feeling. For that, you'll say, ¿A qué hora es el checkout?
¿A qué hora es el checkout? Okay, that's very direct. I like that. What if I didn't book ahead and I just walk in hoping for a room? Like, do you have any rooms available?
Good scenario. If you're looking for availability, you'd ask, ¿Tiene habitaciones disponibles?
¿Tiene habitaciones disponibles? Okay, so rooms available, that makes sense. What about if I get to my room and something's not right? The air conditioning isn't working or, I don't know, there are no towels.
Ugh, that's the worst. But don't panic. You can generally start with necesito ayuda con, which means I need help with.
Necesito ayuda con. Okay, and then I just add the problem, right? Like if the air conditioning is broken.
Exactly. You'd say, necesito ayuda con el aire acondicionado.
Necesito ayuda con el aire acondicionado. And if there are no towels, which, happens more often than you'd think, what then?
For that, you simply state the absence. No hay toallas, which means there are no towels.
No hay toallas. Cara, this is so helpful. I feel like my hotel stress levels just plummeted. Knowing these few phrases, it just gives you so much confidence.
That's exactly the goal, Ashlyn. Having just a few key phrases can really transform your experience and make you feel much more in control. It's like a total game changer.
It really is. From ordering food to checking into a hotel, I feel so much more prepared. But speaking of preparing, what about those situations we hope we never, ever have to use phrases for? Emergencies or if you get sick.
Oh, absolutely, Ashlyn. It's a crucial part of being prepared, even if it's not the most fun topic. Knowing these phrases can be truly life-saving, or at least, stress-reducing in a difficult moment.
Right, like the absolute basic, if I'm in trouble, what do I yell?
The universal word for help in Spanish is ayuda.
Ayuda. Okay, that one's short and to the point. What if I need more specific help, like an ambulance or a doctor? Good question. To ask someone to call an ambulance, you'd say, llama a una ambulancia. Llama a una ambulancia. And if you need a doctor, you say, necesito un médico. Necesito un médico. Okay, so straight to the point again. And if I'm injured, God forbid.
Exactly. If you need to say, I'm injured, you'd say, estoy herido if you're male, or estoy herida if you're female.
Okay, estoy herido. Herida. That's good to know. What about if it's not a full-blown emergency, but I'm just not feeling well, like a headache?
That's actually very common. For a headache, you'd say, me duele la cabeza. Literally, my head hurts me.
me duele la cabeza. So me duele means it hurts?
Precisely. You can apply it to other body parts. For instance, if your stomach hurts, you'd say me duele el estómago.
Me duele el estómago. Got it. What if I have a fever? That's like a classic travel sickness symptom.
Yes, it is. For I have a fever, you say tengo fiebre.
Tengo fiebre. Okay. And probably the next thing I'd need is a pharmacy, right? How do I ask for the nearest one?
Absolutely essential. You'd ask, ¿Dónde está la farmacia más cercana?
¿Dónde está la farmacia más cercana? That's a mouthful, but super important. So, like, where is the nearest pharmacy?
You got it. Hopefully, you won't need to use these phrases, Ashlyn, but it's really, really important to have them in your back pocket, just in case.
No, definitely. I mean, it's like packing a first aid kit, right? You hope you don't need it, but you're so glad it's there if you do. This makes me feel so much more secure about, just about anything that could happen when I'm out and about.
Whew. Ashlyn, we really did cover a lot today, didn't we? From those very first hola and buenos dias, all the way to, hopefully not needed but incredibly vital emergency phrases like ayuda.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing how much practical Spanish you can just pick up and start using, like right away, from day one, really. I feel so much more confident about, just navigating a Spanish-speaking country now.
Absolutely, and that's exactly the goal, right? Remember, for everyone listening, repetition really helps. So, go back and listen to this episode again, practice speaking these phrases out loud. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be replaying this one. Thanks for joining us, everyone. This was so helpful. Hasta la próxima.
Yes, thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe to the channel to stay updated on future episodes. Buena suerte con su español y adiós.